Hello, this is Jim Duffy of Refining Fire Chiles. Website's superhotchilies.com. Welcome to our video series called Peppers 101. This video series that we started now in 2023, and we are located in Lindale, Georgia, which is northwest Georgia. We are going to hope, and we just hope you will get excited about learning about new chilies. It's our desire that you will be encouraged and inspired to grow different kinds of chilies, whether they be super hots that blow your head off or sweet peppers from some country you've never heard of. We are hoping that we will inspire that you will grow more chilies, grow different kinds of chilies, cook with different kinds of chilies, and make all kinds of different foods with different chilies. And don't be constrained by the use of a chili. If a country uses a chili a certain way, don't say like, oh, well, I don't really want to use it that way. That's okay. Use it a different way. That's all right. You can use it a different way. Be adventurous in the kitchen. And by all means, get your children out in the garden. Maybe not with super hots, but get your children out in the garden and teach them how to grow from seed and take care of plants and water plants and feed plants, and then harvest your bounty from the plants. And then get your children out in the kitchen and let them help you with the meal, for goodness sakes. Get them in the outdoors and fresh air in the garden, and get them in the kitchen and show them how to create delicious food with chilies. And not just chilies, but other vegetables and other fruits as well. Your children will never forget it. And you'll be creating a better human being for the future in this planet. A human being that cares about plants and gardening and making food for the family. I'm just saying, it's better than just staring at a phone and playing the game on the phone. So be involved with your kids. Be involved. And not just with gardening and stuff, but be involved. They're the future. With that being said, like the video, share the video, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification if you want to watch all the other chili videos and be notified when they come up. Our goal this year is to have over 120 videos on chilies. We won't be eating them on camera, but we will be showing you them and discussing them and talking about them. So here we go. Here you are looking at a chili called the Mutant X. The Mutant X comes from a grower, Matthew Arthur. Matthew Arthur is famous, well, he's famous to me and a lot of other people for coming out with some really oddball, crazy pepper crosses, mainly super hot crosses. The most famous of all is the MA Wartrix, which we have on our website, but we're not growing this year. MA Wartrix. MA stands for Matthew Arthur. Wartrix, I don't know where he got that name from. I never asked him. Anyway, he has a lot of accidental crosses. He likes to like plant groups of plants together and let the bees just do the crossing and see what magic appears later on. And then he'll grow it later on in the hopes of keeping the creation stable or consistent. So that's what Matthew does. He's a great guy, very humble guy, very soft-spoken, loves gardening, loves dogs, good people. He's really good people. Very thankful for him for sharing the chili love with so many people and inspiring so many people to grow chilies. Very thankful for Matthew Arthur and his wife Carla Arthur for being at his side and encouraging him through all this. I don't know how he's doing at the present. It's 2023. He resides in Arkansas somewhere, and I believe he works at a plant nursery because he knows plants. So this is the Mutant X. Now, as I've said in many other videos, if you watch my other videos on super hots, super hot peppers are not stable, but some will be more consistent than others. Now, what I mean by stable is if it's stable, you could grow it for the next 10 years and it will look the same for the next 10 years. But a lot of times new stuff, genetics just does its own thing in nature and you have no control over it, and something else might appear out of something a few years later. Or they could even revert back to the parent that did the cross, the parent plant. In the case of this cross, this was probably done by the bees, and so Matthew wouldn't even be able to tell you like what are the two varieties involved in making this cross. There's also a peach variant. I had it appear one time in my grow in San Diego when I lived there. I've saved seeds of it. I may grow it in the future. I may not. I don't know. But the Mutant X is deathly hot. It's deathly hot. The plants get 4 to 5 feet tall. They ripen from green to red. to dark red. They'll go from like a light orange red like this one here. They like to be elongated, really bumpy and spiky, and a lot of them will have a tail or a point at the end of the chili that looks like it's gonna be a tail, wants to be a tail. Here comes the train. The train is gonna pass by. So just bear with me as the train beeps its horn a few more times, and then we will continue the video. So you want to see a real wicked one? See, in some seed sellers will just put this picture up on their website, and then you'll get the impression that all your Mutant X's are going to look really super cool like this. But the reality is, they're not all going to look super cool like this. They're not. They won't all be like that. Be nice if they did. Some of them are going to have a little bit more of a scorpion look with the little, you see the little cap? It's kind of like a hat or a bonnet shape above the tail. Some of them are going to come out a big fat red chili with a little point at the end. But I've got a bag full of pods now from my grower, one of my growers, because I don't grow everything myself. I can't. It's too much. I'm too old to do everything myself. And here's another one that's a little bit more fat and squatty with a little pointy tail at the end. But ideally, you will get chilies that look like these four here. Kind of elongated, really spiky, with a little bit longer of a tail. Okay? That's kind of what you'll get. Here's one, here's another one. Because the bag full of pods I have, which is about 4 pounds, I'd say about 60 to 70% of the peppers of the Mutant X look like these right here. Okay? So you're going to hope to get a lot of peppers that look like that. I mean, even if they're like that and they're fat and they're shorter, they're going to have the same flavor and same heat level. They're not going to change. It's just that if you like taking pepper pictures like I like taking pepper pictures, well, you're going to want to have the cooler look for your pictures that you put on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, whatever you share it on, okay? But just expect, if you're going to grow super hot crosses, understand that super hot crosses are fairly new. Most of them are not even a decade old yet, although some people say they were growing back in the early 2000s, and that's a lie, because you know what? Nobody even really knew about 7 pots of ghost peppers back in the early 2000s. They didn't even know about them. Maybe the people in the countries where they're from, the originals like 7 pots of scorpions and ghosts, knew about them because they lived there, but we didn't know about them. So for people to make claims that, oh, I've been growing this pepper I've been crossing these crosses for this long. No, you haven't. So quit lying. Okay? Because it wasn't until like 2011, 2012 that many people even had scorpions or 7 pots. Some people had in the UK and Australia, handful of people in the United States, but not that many. Not that many to where everybody was crossing them. Some of your earliest crosses would be your Jay's Red Ghost Scorpion and your Jay's Peach Coat Scorpion from the Weavers. And they started making that cross, I believe, in 2008, 2009. That's like the first early cross of 2 super hots that I'm aware of. But now, there's thousands and thousands of people crossing super hots in their earnest attempt to make the next hottest pepper in the world, which it's doubtful it's going to happen because you're crossing with the same species as over and over again, that being 7-pot scorpion, ghosts, nagas. You only have a limited gene pool. Now, if there were 20 native super hots out there, I'd say maybe the odds of you creating something hotter would happen. But when you grow the same hots with the other same hots and cross those cross hots with other crosses of other hots and with other crosses and crosses and crosses of crosses and crosses and expect different results, that ain't gonna happen, folks. Maybe you'll get an anomaly every now and then where a pepper tests over 2 million, but it's not gonna be the average, and most people are not gonna get that in their garden. It's gonna be a little freaky thing that happens. So, hey, grow a bunch of red and brown super hots, and whatever you think is the hottest, that's the one you keep growing, if you like the burn more than anything else. or the shape or the size or the productivity. Listening to people say that this is definitely the hottest in the world, well, there's also people who say there's a tooth fairy in Santa Claus. And I'm sorry if you're insulted, and I just burst your bubble that you believe in the tooth fairy in Santa Claus. But it's kind of futile to keep crossing all these crosses and expect different results, because you got the same gene pool, which is a small gene pool. So it's kind of like throwing a glass of water in a swimming pool. Have you changed the swimming pool? You have not. That's my thoughts on super hot crosses. But I don't discourage you from crossing them and making your own crosses, because it's part of the hobby, because it's fun, and you might get something really cool looking. But it's doubtful that you're going to get some 3 million or 4 million pepper. It's doubtful, and people make those claims, can't prove them, and they're liars. If you can't prove it, you're a liar. That's all I'm saying. You got the proof, you're not a liar. You can't prove it, you're a liar. Liar, 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 liar. Anyhow, Mutant X, it's mean. It will blow you up. It will destroy you. You will have to drink Reaper mash to cool your mouth down from Mutant X. The Mutant X will burn you more than a Reaper. Is it hotter than a Reaper? SHU, chemical-wise, measured in a lab? I don't know. Does it burn you and beat the heck out of you more than a Reaper? Yeah. It's a bigger pot and has more oil, so it should burn you more. So this is the Mutant X. Thank you, Matthew Arthur, for your experiments and your love of gardening and growing of chilies. Because if you didn't do it, Matthew Arthur, a lot of us wouldn't have been inspired by your growing, and we would not know about some of these chilies and not have some of these crazy things you came up with in your garden or your farm or the nursery you worked at. We wouldn't have it. So thank you again, Matthew Arthur. I'm going to try to keep the Mutant X and your MA Wartrix going. As far as I'm concerned, out of all your varieties that you've ever made, the Mutant X and the MA Wartrix are your two best. I used to grow the Yellow Daisy Cutter, but not too many people want to buy it anymore, so I dropped it from my catalog. I'm sorry, because that was one of your first ones that you ever grew. But the Mutant X and the MA Wartrix, I will keep alive for as long as I have a business here at Refining Fire Chilies. This is Jim Duffy of Refining Fire Chilies. Subscribe, like and share. Share the chili love, but get your children out the outdoors in the garden. Take care.